Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am back. After so long, I am back. It feels good to be back. There's a lot that has happened since I've been gone. So, for those of you that have been following me on social media, I've been active on there. Content work in terms of going on YouTube have been very, very low. Moved into a new house. I'm in the new space, trying to get things going. But I'm back. I'm back. We getting to work. We getting to work. I'm gonna get right into it, man. The Mets. The Mets have been making a lot of news, man, and they've made a big one. They signed Juan Soto to a 15-year, $765 million contract. And brother, when I tell you that I was ecstatic, I was jumping up and down. Now, granted, there have been people that have said, they're kind of going into a situation long term with this contract. They shouldn't do it. They should go ahead and try to find a different option. My thing is this. When we all know what Steve Cohen and we all know what Alex Cohen have brought to the table since they took over the New York Mets, I don't necessarily think that with the way this franchise has been going under their watch, that you're just going to pass up a superstar like Juan Soto. Now, granted, yes, that's not to say that there's no way of going of there's not to say that there's not a different route to go through. There is. But people have to understand that when you pass expectations after what you did last year, mind you, people were saying the 2024 Mets, they'll probably be a wild card team. If not, we'll probably see a year where they'll probably build a little, and if they don't make the playoffs, cool, whatever. They'll go into 2025 and win. They passed expectations. They made the NLCS. That right there is telling you, yo, you got to build off of that. You have to. And already the assumptions were after we lost in Game 6 to the Dodgers, yo, bro, they gotta go all in on Juan Soto. They gotta keep Pete. They gotta bring back Sevy. They gotta bring back Manaea. You know what I'm saying? Like there were things that people were already putting a stamp on that the Mets had to do. Now they didn't sign Sevy. For those of you who know, Sevy went I should say the Sacramento Athletics for 3 years, $67 million. Now that already tells you that the market was super high. It was super high. Shit wasn't gonna get done. I personally think that it was gonna be one of those situations where, the Mets were looking at Sevy like, listen, we could probably see you here on a 3-year deal. We could probably see you on a 2-year deal, but we don't think you're worth that much money. You know what I'm saying? They probably wanted to give him a lower amount, and Sevy probably had conversations, and I'm like, listen, this is what I'm getting from the A's. If you can match it, cool. You know what I'm saying? If you can't, then I gotta go somewhere else. And ultimately, that's what he did. So I think it's one of those things where now you got to pivot to Shamanaya. Now, granted, they haven't gone to Shamanaya, but they did add to the rotation. They signed Frankie Montas, and they signed Clay Holmes. Now, the Frankie Montas and Clay Holmes is an interesting story. The Frankie Montas is an interesting story for number one because of the fact that nobody expected them to go after this brother, right? We understand that David Stearns has the mentality of not giving pitchers long-term deals. That's probably why I personally don't think that Corbin Burns is going to be here, right? Because Corbin Burns is looking for a 7-8-year deal around $200 million range, right? So they get Frankie Montas, which was again a shocker. They got him for a 2-year, $34 million deal. That's 17 mil AAV. So that again, shocker. The guy has a nice fastball, but his breaking pitches are not that good. He's pitched with the Yankees, wasn't great. Got traded to either got traded or signed to Cincinnati, wasn't great. Then got traded from Cincinnati to Milwaukee, was okay. They kind of fixed him. He pitched against us in Game 2 of the wild card, and he's basically cooking us with his fastball. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the only highlight that I think Frankie Montas has had recently. So, just going based off of that, that's basically all you have. And people know how much he struggles. He for the season last year, he finished with a record of 7-11 with an ERA in the 400s. So that's alarming. But we know that Sevy had issues the year prior to last year. He stunk. He stunk with the Yankees, and he came in here. David Stearns and the pitching lab and Jeremy Hefner, they were able to help him, and you saw what Luis Severino was able to do here. He was able to revamp himself to the point where he got that deal with the A's. So I believe that they'll be able to do that with Frankie Montas. It's just that the name itself is not a favorite choice for me. It's not. I'm being very honest with you guys. It is not. I personally think that if you go ahead and you would have waited on a Frankie Montas. Go ahead and get yourself somebody like I would say, maybe a Nathan Eovaldi, maybe a Nick Pivetta. That would work. But now they can't because Nathan Eovaldi signed a 3-year, $75 million contract to stay in Texas. Nick Pivetta is out there. The problem with Nick Pivetta is that he has a qualifying offer attached to him. So you basically Nick Pivetta has to perform great for this shit to work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the issue with the Nick Pivetta situation. And I understand people are looking at Nick Pivetta from the Phillies. He went to Boston and he switched himself. And so, he has a really good fastball too as well. That's another good fastball pitcher that I think benefits the Mets, especially in Citi Field. Citi Field's a pitcher's park. So, that works within itself. But yeah, man, they made those transactions, I should say, excuse me. And then they ended up getting Clay Holmes. Now the Clay Holmes transaction is pretty funny because shout out to Keith from Shea and Sons. If you haven't followed them, give them a follow already. I will put their link, the bio in the description. If you haven't kind of seen, for those that have seen it, if you've seen his last two lives, and he's kind of made jokes about putting Clay Holmes in the rotation, you make him a bottom rotation piece, right? And you get him from a reliever to a starter. It was all a joke. It was all a joke. The funny thing is that while we were all joking about it, the Mets, they might have somebody listening to our the spaces and watching Shea and Sons lives that they end up coming in and signing the guy. Like they signed him to a 3-year, $38 million deal. Like it blew my mind because I didn't think that was possible. Like I remember he keep saying it, I was just like, yo, bro, get out of here. Because if shout out to my Yankee fans out there, they went through it with him. They went through it with him. He struggled as a closer. Once they finally, put the foot down and said, yo, let's take him out of the closer role, let's put him as a setup bat, he kind of prevailed a little bit. But as a closer, he stunk. So to kind of move him up a little bit and be like, yo, let's put him as a starter, like a fourth or fifth, maybe a sixth starter, depending on how big the rotation is. It was like, ew. Like, no, we don't want that. Lo and behold, the Mets do. David Stearns does. So this could be another situation where they put him in that pitching lab and try to utilize his pitches as much as he can. Maybe add a pitch. Maybe add a pitch to his arsenal. You know what I'm saying? You can do that with him and see if it works. The thing with Sevy is that Sevy was able to utilize his fastball a little bit better and wasn't relying on. He was relying. Matter of fact, no, excuse me. He trusted his fastball all the time, but he was relying more on his fastball last year, and a lot of the times his fastball looked flat. He was not only going to his fastball this year, last season, right? Because, like I said, he was relying on his fastball a lot, and it looked flat when he was with his last year with the Yankees. Last year, he not only trusted his fastball, but he was using his changeup more. He was using his slider a lot, and his slider and his changeup, they were working. So when those two pitches are working, and then you know how to locate your fastball better, that was the key to success for Sevy. So Jeremy Hefner and David Stearns to a certain extent with that pitching lab, they were able to change him a little bit. And I also think it's not even about the changes in his pitches. I also think that it has to do with him just being on a new team, new environment. Yeah, he's in New York, which I think also played a part because he wanted to stay here. But he was in a new team and he was under a new system that was willing to fix whatever he had issues with his last year with the Yankees. So that right there in itself could help Clay Holmes. Could not only help Clay Holmes in terms of what he struggled with last year as a closer, but if you add new arsenals to his pitches, right, to his pitching mix, as a starter, he'll be able to, ramp that up, and probably you get him going in spring training, going into the season. He's used to it. You got him on a pitching limit, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Again, you don't have to. You can take that risk with him being a 4 or 5 in your rotation. So that right there enough helps. That helps. Again, getting Frankie Montas, getting Clay Holmes, to me, is not a risk because they are not your 1, they're not your 2, and they're not your 3. As of right now, that's me saying that Shamanaya is coming back. Shamanaya is a different story because Shamanaya, now looking at what Corbin Burns is about to get, because somebody's going to give him his money. Corbin Burns has the stats for you to pay that man 7 or 8 years, $200 million. Does everybody like it? No. But at the end of the day, there will be a team out there that's going to go ahead and get him. Now, David Stearns could wake up and be like, yo, you know what? I don't usually like to give pitchers long-term deals, but this is Corbin Burns. His track record speaks within his stats. Let's go do it. Let's go get that ace per se. Because Kodai Senga can't be trusted. You don't know what you're gonna get out of David Peterson again, even though he had an exceptional year last year. It's a sophomore year in terms of a full year of being a starter and having success, right? So you don't know if you're gonna get that same type of success. You don't know if Manaya is coming back because that would technically be your ace based on what he did last year and the contract that he's gonna get. You don't know what Frankie Montas is going to get. You don't know what Paul Blackburn is going to give you when he comes back. You don't know what these guys are going to give you. You don't know what you're going to get. It's the same thing with Corbin Burns. You got to go based off track record and what he's done in the past. So with pitching, it's a risk, but you're able to make that. You're able to make that risk. Shamanaya, like I said, based on what Sevi got, based on what Kikuchi got, based on what Corbin Burns is about to get, based on what Nathan Eovaldi got, he's going to be asking for a 4 to 5 year deal, possibly, maybe 80 mil, maybe 90 mil plus, maybe 100 mil plus, because that's where the market is right now. And he's 33. So if you're the Mets, you ask yourself, 33, I got to give this brother a 4 to 5 year deal. And I don't even know if he's going to be the same as he was last year. Forget about what the changes that he made in his arm when it came to Chris Sale helping him out. You just don't know if that's going to work again. We're only banking off 1 year of success. So that plays a part. That comes into questioning. Like I said, there's a lot of options, but the Frankie Montas and Clay Holmes signing is interesting, and I can't wait to see what Clay Holmes does more. I'm not too, like I said, I'm not too excited about the Frankie Montas thing. If he does prove me and a lot of Met fans wrong, I will be here for that. I will fully embrace it and I will take it. But as of right now, it's just not. I'm not for it. The Clay Holmes thing is a little bit different because, like I said, this is a guy that could be used as a Seth Lugo type of investment, where he comes out of the bullpen and he's going straight into the rotation as a number 5, and you're giving him that opportunity because if he doesn't succeed as a starter, you can put him back in the bullpen. So I'll take that, and it could be the same thing with Frankie Montas, but I just don't know. The Clay Holmes just kind of, it's a funny one, but it's one that I'm willing to take. Frankie Montas really hasn't proven anything in terms of just him being a starter. So I'm interested to see how this works out. But guys, like I said before when I started off the show, Juan Soto is fucking here. Juan Soto is here, and let me just tell you, that brother looks happy as fuck. That brother, it looks ecstatic to be here. Let me show you guys a video of him putting on that jersey and just how great he looks with that jersey on. I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic. Look at that. Yeah, outfit he got on. A turtleneck. Yeah, he had that blaze on. He's ready. That's money. That's money already. That's money already. The guys back from the media. Excited, man. Look how good he looks in that jersey, man. So much pop, so much color, man. Nothing dull, nothing boring. Oh my God, no black and gray shit. Look at that. Look how happy he looks, man. Amazing, amazing.
Thank you very much.
Man. Look at that, man. That is awesome. That is awesome. That at the end of the day, like I said, I was ecstatic. I was happy just to have him here, man. The brother is one of the literally, I would say, the best player in the MLB right now. Call me crazy that his numbers speak for itself. Juan Soto is going to be able to provide something that Francisco Lindor has been missing since he's been here as a Met, and that's another superstar right next to him. Now, granted, we all love our Pete Alonsos, we all love our Starlin Martes, Mark Vientos, and stuff like that. But we needed another guy to help carry this team. Francisco Lindor is back, legitimately hurt from what he did starting June all the way up to October. They went out there and they said, yo, we're not losing this guy. We're going out there and we're going to fucking get our guy. I mean, Steve Cohen said it himself. Yeah, I was shocked that when he made his decision. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you also look at what the Yankees and the Blue Jays offered, they offered 760. They offered 16 years, 760. But with the reports coming out there about how the Yankees didn't want to give him a sweep. Now, granted, people are going to talk about, well, they didn't do it for Derek Jeter. They didn't do it for Aaron Judge. Cool. You want to live by that? Cool, whatever. But I think if you're Brian Cashman, if you're Hal Steinbrenner, you're making that change. Now, of course, it's no Aaron Judge, no Derek Jeter. Cool. But you're doing that change to get him here at no cost whatsoever. I don't give a fuck if Derek Jeter, if Aaron Judge feels some type of way. Derek Jeter should not feel some type of way. Motherfucker, you got rings. Don't get mad about a fucking sweep. Aaron Judge, you haven't done shit in the postseason when they needed you. Don't get mad about a fucking sweep. Juan Soto carried them motherfuckers to the playoffs. Let's be real. Because besides making a trade for Jazz Chisholm, who else did they really have? They really had the same team that they had in 2023, and they didn't make the postseason with that team. Then what they do? Trade for Juan Soto the next year, and look where they got. I think Juan Soto wins that battle, in my opinion. Yankee fans can agree and disagree all they want. I think he wins that battle easily. So they didn't want to pay him the suite. They didn't want to get him the suite. At the end of the day, Yankee fans will tell you. Yankee fans on social media all said, pay this man whatever the fuck he wants. Pay him. Shout out to NYYU P. Simonetti, right? Who did a video and basically said, Brian Cashman, pay this man whatever the fuck he wants. And then he said, fuck Cashman, how you negotiated. That's the mentality that should have been going into that conversation with Juan Soto. Juan Soto comes up to you and says, hey, I want y'all to pay for my suite. The report about how his family was standing outside in the rain at the stadium, the security didn't want to let him in the stadium. That right there alone, and based off what he did compared to what fucking Aaron Judge did in the playoffs, right? I'm putting those together, and I'm like, all right, so we'll do that for you. That's what's gonna take you to come back here to the Yankees. I'll do it for you. I'll do it because we need you. You are the missing piece to this team for us to go back to the World Series again. They didn't want to do that. Steve Cohen got so many people involved to paint the picture that this is going to be a successful franchise for him. And it worked. It legitimately worked. Like they got their traveling secretary to come and show him the perks for his family. And boom, right then and there. Steve Cohen heard that report about the Yankees and this whole shit with the suite. and said, you know what, this is what we're gonna do for you, and it worked, and it worked. Another thing too, what the Mets did last year, you can't tell me Juan Soto wasn't paying attention. You can't tell me that the 4 games that we played within the Subway Series, when we swept them, that Juan Soto wasn't looking at them like, yo, this is a whole different team when I faced them when I was back in Washington. You can't tell me he wasn't looking at that. Of course he was looking at that. And it came to a thing where, listen, they did whatever they could. This whole power presentation that they did, it worked. It worked. And I'm happy that this brother is here. This is showing that Steve Cohen is saying, yo, we're gonna win and we have to win. And I gotta put something in this lineup, a superstar in this lineup that is here to not only help my other superstar in Francisco Lindor, but to help my fan base, to help the organization, and just to help whoever's already on this team to go ahead and win. And there you go. So Juan Soto is here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys go get that jersey. Make sure you guys embrace it. Another Dominican superstar. I'm stoked. As you already know, I'm stoked. Another Dominican superstar is here. A Dominican that is getting his bag, that is not only going to support his family, but is going to support his entire town in DR. That to me, I'm proud of that. I am super proud of that. And it's funny because I've always said that, watching Juan Soto as Washington National, I've always said like, damn, I want that on my team, and he's here, man. He's here. So yep. So Juan Soto is here. I know there's a little bit of perks in his contract where they're talking about, that after his 5th year, he can opt out. But there's also a thing where the Mets can also avoid that opt out and pay him an extra 55 million, which, if I'm not mistaken, comes out to 105. His entire contract if they void that opt out, comes up to 105 million. So that right there alone is they're gonna pay him. They're gonna pay him that 55. They're gonna pay him that 55. But Juan Soto is a fucking Met, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I can't wait. I can't wait for opening day. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's April 4th. We play the Toronto Blue Jays 3-game series, and I am fucking happy. I am happy. I can't wait till the season starts and we play those first 3 games in Houston. That brother's gonna be back in Houston again for opening week, and I can't wait till he takes his first at bat with the New York Mets, man. I'm fucking stoked, bro. But back into we'll move on to the next topic. Ladies and gentlemen, David Wright is going to be retired. His number is going to be retired, excuse me. David Wright, the GOAT, guy that a lot of Met fans grew up on. I think he deserves this. I think he's had an exceptional career as a New York Met. He's given us a lot of memories. It's unfortunate that it ended the way it did. Battled a lot of injuries, including with his back. But I think he deserves this, man. I'm definitely going to be there. David Wright has earned so much of our respect for what he's done in the past within his career. Even the moment where, in Game 3 of the 2015 World Series, where he hit that home run off of Jordan Ventura, that's special because he had a moment there. Like, that's a moment that I think David Wright looks back on and just says, "Man, I'm glad I was able to do that when we were in that World Series." It's unfortunate that he didn't get his ring. I wish, that's a year that I look back on. I'm like, I wish we would. I wish we would have had it. I wish we would have had it. Like, that one hurt. That one truly hurt. But it's fun. It's finally cool. I've always said, like, I wonder when, if he gets his number retired, or even if he goes into the Hall of Fame, and he's gonna get both, man. July 19th, we play the Cincinnati Reds. David Wright will get his number retired, and best believe you are going to see so many legends in the building to celebrate that, man. And I can't wait to be there live, man. But last but not least, where will Pete Alonso sign? I've heard Pete Alonso might go to the Cubs. I've heard Pete Alonso might go to Milwaukee. I've heard Pete Alonso might be signing with the Yankees. I heard Pete Alonso maybe might go to Houston. Maybe might go to San Fran. Maybe might come back here. Pete Alonso declined a 150 mil plus contract, 7 years from the Mets last year. We all thought he was crazy because Pete Alonso doesn't. That's something that again for the Mets to go ahead and be like, yeah, let's offer you this right now while we're in the middle of the season, is showing how much they care about the brother, how much they want him back. Of course, he signs with Scott Boras, declines the contract, and you're sitting there, you're like, yo, I hope this doesn't go on to where we gotta fucking deal with the fact that he's probably not going to be here. Personally, for me, and I'll keep this short because I wanted to keep this video short and kind of, give some more ideas of what I'm going to be doing. But Pete Alonso has a great opportunity now with the Juan Soto signing to really go to the Mets and be like, yo, tell me what you guys are going to give me right now. If you can tell me what you're gonna give me right now, what you think I'm worth from your guys' perspective, if I don't get nothing close, if I don't get nothing better than that, if nobody could really match it or give me anything higher, I will be back. I will be back. I don't think, and anybody else could be talking crazy, but I personally don't think that the Mets view Pete Alonso like Pete Alonso and Scott Boras view themselves or view Pete alone. I think Scott Boras, Steve Cohen view Pete as 150 to 180 type of mark. Pete Alonso and Scott Boras probably view themselves as, if it's not 180, make it go up all the way to 200. And I think that's where the disconnect, to where if Pete Alonso doesn't sign with the Mets, it's probably going to be from one of the teams that I listed, and they're probably going to go to that range. And I won't be shocked. I will not be shocked. Because they can look at it from a standpoint where they can go ahead and sign Christian Walker for a 3-year deal. Now, they can also tell Mark Vientos, listen, Ronnie's coming back. Acuna's going to be back up here. Brett Beatty's still here. We'll take the risk with one of those three. If Iglesias doesn't come back, we'll take the risk and we'll put them at third, right? And you go play first for us, right? If they want to take that risk and go the whole year doing that, they can do that. Because then what they can do is go into the 2025 off season and say, yo, Vladdy, we got Juan Soto here. You're next. Now, there's been reports that maybe, not reports, but rumors that maybe Vladdy's going to want a $400 million contract, $500 million contract, right? Because of where the market is at and what Juan Soto got. I personally don't think he's worth all that much. I think he's a phenomenal first baseman, and I would love to have him. But if you're going to go that range because of what Juan Soto got, you can buy. I don't need it. But those are the options that they could do. They can go get a Cody Bellinger. They could go get a Christian Walker, or they can go ahead and say, you know what, Mark Vientos, you're going to play first for this year. Let's go get Vladdy next year, and let's put Mark Vientos back at third next year. You know what I'm saying? Like let's go get Vladdy in 2025, and let's put Mark Vientos back in third in 2020 and 2026. Excuse me. They can do that, and that's if Pete doesn't sign. But I personally think that with this Juan Soto signing, Pete understands the magic that we can create. I just think that in terms of the money situation, that's probably what's holding. It could be also because Santana didn't sign, because Teoscar still hasn't signed, because Christian Walker himself still hasn't signed. It could be that. But I think that if they had a deal where Pete Alonso and Scott Boras liked it, it would have been signed. So it could either be what I just mentioned, or the fact that Scott Boras and Pete Alonso view themselves a little bit more higher than what David Stearns and Steve Cohen view Pete Alonso. I personally, though, think that he will be here. I think it's only taking a little bit of time because of either, like I said, the two things that I mentioned. But I think he will be here because I think this Juan Soto signing made him interested, got him hyped up to want to come back. If he doesn't sign here, I will be half shocked, half not shocked because of the things that I mentioned. So we'll see how it goes, man. But I'm gonna end it here, man. Again, first episode coming back, kind of everything starting fresh, man. Now that, like I said, moved into a new house, got a new space. So it's I'm trying to start off on the right foot with the content work, man. I hope y'all still follow me at Top Bunk Sports on all platforms, on YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok, and on Facebook as well. And yeah, man, a lot of big things are coming my way. Also, I do also have a Mets podcast only on Mets, featuring two of my good friends from X Mets Spaces, Mets Twitter, Queens Baseball. Shout out to the Pope Rube. Shout out to Keith from Shea and Sons. And shout out to my two good friends from there that will be joining me, Chris Torres and AP. Two good guys that, like I said, are from Mets Twitter, from Queens Baseball Space, that I really got to know well and really respect. And, they wanted to start this podcast. They asked me if I could help them and join them along, just because I've kind of been doing the podcasting for a little bit and kind of just talk about Mets baseball only, just have a regular conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy to make it happen. We will be dropping our first episode very soon, so take a look for that. It's called the Seven Express Podcast. So once everything is out, I will put it out on all the platforms for you guys to follow. But yeah, we got big things coming up on Top of Sports, man. I'm really trying to expand and really trying to stay consistent. And it starts today, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.